Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to show you how to put new cells in the battery pack of a Toshiba Libretto CT50. This is a miniature laptop from 1997, but the techniques we're using to replace the batteries apply to many other devices, including the range of HP Palmtops, the Scion Series 7 or netbook, and many other laptops. Just be aware that modern devices may contain so-called smart batteries, and these have a control chip that monitors the charge-discharge cycle. If this is contained in one, when you replace the batteries, you'll find that it'll discharge fine, but it will not charge. And that's what I found with my Toshiba Libretto W100. However, for older devices like this, it's going to work just fine, I hope. Before we get started, a huge shout out to @UKScience.org, who sent me a super thanks following success on formatting his compact flashcard for his Scion Series 5, after he mistakenly thought that the card reader was dead. So big thank you to you, and I'm pleased that you finally got your Scion working. And before we start, a word of warning. Anyone attempting to do this does so at their own risk. I will accept no responsibility for damage to devices, properties, pets, persons, or anything else. There are inherent risks with lithium-ion batteries. If you short circuit or damage one of these, they're likely to undergo a spontaneous discharge, resulting in explosion or fire. Because of this, I'd recommend you do anything like this in a well-ventilated area and have a bucket of sand to hand just in case. You would also benefit from having direct access to the outside, so you can simply throw the whole lot outside and save everything else. With that out of the way, let's get cracking. So you're going to need an original battery pack, some nickel strip, a hairdryer, just be aware heat guns get too hot, a plastic spudger or two, small pliers, some electrical tape, a glue gun, and to reattach the batteries I would recommend a mini spot welder. It's fast and it gives a good connection, so if you do any amount of things like this, it's well worth the investment. You can of course use a soldering iron if you prefer, but applying heat directly to batteries is generally to be frowned upon. Also, you should never just try and jam everything back in using tin foil to make the connections. I have actually seen this done on one of the Scion 7 batteries on the Scion forums, and honestly, you're just asking for problems. Tinfoil is very thin and conductive, and if you do get a short, it will instantly set on fire. Finally, of course, you're going to need some batteries, and I had a couple of issues with this, so we'll come back to that in a few minutes. For now, I'm going to run the battery test for my original battery just here, and I'm going to run the replacement battery test just here, so we can see how much of an improvement I actually get. So the first thing we need to do is open up the battery pack itself. Just be aware this is 30 years old, and so the plastics are likely very brittle. Because of this, you need to be very careful not to crack the shell. So I would recommend applying a bit of heat with the hairdryer, as this will soften both the plastic and any adhesive holding the case or batteries together. Now find the seam and gently work around with your plastic spudger. Take your time. There's no rush with this, and this is the most likely time when you're going to damage the pack itself. You are going to find, because it's brittle, that most of the clips are going to break. Don't worry about that. We're actually going to glue the two halves of the shell back together when we finish. Now we've got the lid off the battery pack, we need to soften the glue that's holding the batteries. So again, apply a little bit of heat with the hairdryer, and then just very gently slowly prise the batteries out, being careful not to damage the plastic sleeve on the battery, and of course don't leave it against the plastic shell or you risk cracking it. Again, do not rush, just take your time and ease those batteries out. So now we've got the batteries out of the shell, I recommend you take a photo of it, and this way you can make sure that when you reattach new batteries, they're in the correct polarity. failing to do this could easily result in damage to the circuit board that controls the battery charging. So to remove the nickel strip that's there already, I recommend you hook your pliers underneath and simply roll the pliers round. This will gently ease the nickel away from the battery. Just be careful if you're doing it on the positive terminal, make sure that the plastic sleeve is intact. If it isn't, you will need some electrical tape to prevent short circuiting while you remove this nickel strip. Be careful not to damage the thermistor on the end, as this is needed to monitor the battery temperature for charge-discharge cycles. Once you've removed all the batteries, you're left with the terminal and PCB. Time to attach some new batteries. Here in 2025, nearly everything uses the same size of lithium-ion batteries, from vapes to electric cars, with a few variants. The most common in use is 18650. The number 18650 means it is 18mm in diameter and 65mm in length. And this makes perfect sense because you get cost reductions because of manufacturing at scale, and it means you're not designing a new battery every time you design a new product. 18650s are the ones used in HP's Palmtop range, they're used in the Scion 7 and netbook, they're used in the UMID MBook and countless other laptops and handhelds. And I had assumed that that was the battery that was in here. But we all know what assumptions make. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're really enjoying this video, you could consider becoming a member. For your $1 a month, you will receive some stickers to go next to any comments that you make. You will also get access to videos early, you will get access to members polls to determine the direction of the channel, and of course you'll receive a shout out and your name in the end credits. And if that's not enough for you, consider this. You'll also get that warm fuzzy feeling of knowing that you're helping this channel. I got the first clue that something wasn't quite right after I'd spot welded the first battery in and realised it was a little shorter than I had anticipated. However, I didn't stop there. I continued to spot weld the other two batteries, only to realise it wouldn't actually fit in the shell. So on closer examination, it turns out that these are a 17760, and if you've not heard of that size, you'll be forgiven. That makes it a little bit narrower and slightly longer than the 18650s, which are standard these days. No problem, I'll just pop online, order some 17760s, jobs are good and simple as. Nope. So it turns out a 17760 is not a standard size, if it ever was, and they're not available anywhere on the internet. So I need an alternative. These original batteries are rated at 1200 milliamp hours, and obviously if I'm doing a replacement, it makes sense to go for something with a slightly higher capacity. Enter the uncommon, but still available, 16650. So it's both a little narrower and shorter, but it will definitely fit in the case. In addition, the ones I've purchased are claimed to be 2000 milliamp hours, so it should be a good upgrade on the original. So after 3 weeks, partly because of snow, the batteries finally arrived. Let's get them fitted. I would recommend starting with the central battery for obvious reasons. It's the only time you're going to easily be able to access both terminals. So first of all, refer back to your photo, make sure everything lines up in the case, and then once you're happy, get it spot welded. I suggest putting a couple of spot welds on and then checking that it's well fitted, as it's going to be a pain to access if it detaches later. And it did detach on me twice, which was very annoying. For the outer two batteries, I recommend spot welding a little bit extra length of nickel strip onto the original. This allows you to spot weld it and then fold the strip back on itself. This will make it a lot easier to access when spot welding or soldering. Once you've done that, spot weld the other side and then repeat. I'd recommend adding some electrical tape to insulate the plus and minus terminals at the junction in the middle, and then add some round the outside, as this reduces stress on the welds while you're fitting it back in the casing. While the batteries are a little bit smaller, they still will create a snug fit in the casing. Once you've got them in the bottom half, just run a bead of glue around the edge, making sure that you just contact the edge of the battery. Then place the top on and squeeze gently. Once that's dried, get your hairdryer, heat up one end, and then squeeze or clamp it together. This will create a much nicer fit. Repeat this along the length of the battery, and then once it's set, use a scalpel or similar to remove the excess glue, and this will create a very neat finish. Now all we need to do is pop it in and check it works. Hey presto! So let's charge it up, and then of course I can run the battery test. So first of all, I'd like to point out how incredible it is that the original battery, 28 years on, was able to run this device at full tilt for a whacking 43 minutes. Given that the original spec shows 1.5 hours at full power and 2 hours at low power mode, that means it's still holding a little over a third of its original capacity, which is very impressive. Of course, no shock, the new battery has performed much better, and instead of managing a mere 1.5 hours on full power, has achieved 2.5 hours, which again is very impressive. So this has absolutely been a worthwhile upgrade. There's a couple more things I could do with doing on here. The polarizer, as you can see from the video, is beginning to break down, leaving me a lot of light bleed around the edge, so at some point I would need to repair that. I'd also quite like to overclock it, but we'll come to that another day. If you've done this or a similar project yourself, replacing batteries in a Palmtop, laptop, whatever it might be, I'd love to hear your horror stories, your success stories, and any tips or tricks that we could all benefit from. So let me know in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video or you found it useful in some way, a like or subscribe would be excellent. A huge thanks to all the viewers, commenters, subscribers, and of course to the channel members who are directly supporting the channel. You are amazing. As always, my name's Hugh. This is Handheld Computing. Thanks for watching.